Hi Sagis, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Sagittarius Tarot and another daily oracle reading. Today is the 11th of November 2023. That's 11/11/2023. Now let's reduce that to a double-digit number and we get the number 11. And 11 packs a lot of power. It is a number that holds the energy of using your influence to help others, or vice versa, being on the receiving end. And so that means receiving help from someone using their influence. Now, how can that play out? It can play out in so many scenarios. It could be that someone's using their influence to create awareness or shed light around your cause. This could be someone putting a good word for you, recommending you for a job, for a project. Of course, you're going to have to do the work and prove, what you're capable of. But that little push helps a lot. This could be someone introducing you to someone else and that person will become, let's say, a new friend or lover or a key person in your life. And so it's all that. It's people using their influence, their power, their connection, and everything to help you, or you doing that for others. And when we do that, right, whether we are on the receiving end or whether we give it, it makes us feel like complete. And so let's reduce the number 11, right? Like 1 plus 1, and we get a 2. And 2 is a number of partnership. And partnerships, relationships require a lot of nurturing and caring and all that. But it also represents the soothing energy behind it. Because when we're in a good relationship, there's this soothing energy that we feel as the other person, shows up for us. And also, as we show up for other people, we get that feeling as well. And so that will be sort of the theme of the day, because you are going to be feeling this soothing energy and you're going to feel soothed up, like when someone uses their influence to help you today, or when you do that for someone, it'll also help you, experience that energy. Now onto the part where I'm going to pick for you your daily oracle card, and I chose for you the Goddesses and Sirens oracle deck. Let's see what you get. Exciting stuff. Wow, beautiful. Okay, so you get Pomona. Okay, already immediately, as I'm framing it with the coins, I'm already sensing a fiery energy due to all these colors. And so that's really on point and on brand with you, Sagittarius, Yeah, it is, right? It also looks like a horse or a Saggy, sort of like the long neck, the limbs, everything. I don't know. I'm getting this feeling, the hair. Okay, now, on this card, it says plenty. There's no number associated with it, so that gives the focus even more, keeps the focus even more on the 11 and the number 2 that we discussed. So experiencing soothing energy thanks to receiving help from someone with influence, or experiencing soothing energy because you're using your influence to help someone else. And this card talks about abundance. We've been getting this recurring theme throughout many of the latest readings for you, Saggies. And so this really is a part of this journey that you're on to reevaluate your value system, to change limiting beliefs, to embrace expansion and abundance, and so on and on. And plenty also means like there's a lot. So that's expansion, that's Jupiter, that's your planet, that's ninth house. I'm loving this. Okay. So Pomona here is like a nymph creature. And in the Roman myth, it says that she had a garden that she loved so much that she built walls around it in order not to get distracted by the outside world and outside attention, because for her the garden was enough. She used to tend to it, care for it, nurture it, prune it, the works, right? And she derives a lot of pleasure from it, and she was sort of self-sufficient in a way. And so many suitors tried to approach her and woo her, flirt with her, only to be met with a big no. Until one person one day was able to show himself and sort of, professes his love and gains her heart. And how did he do that? He was like some sort of shapeshifter or something. And so, long story short, he was able to find out that the reason why she was so like against meeting other people from outside was that she was afraid that if she ever fell in love with a suitor, she'd have to leave that garden. So here comes this person that convinced her somehow that with him, she won't have to lose her garden, but there'll be even a bigger garden. And so that's what happened. Together, they expanded and had even like a bigger, better garden. And so, moral of the story is that sometimes we think we have it as good as it gets until life proves to us otherwise. And so this is what I call by moving your baseline higher or leveling up. Because in life, sometimes we get to a certain place. So let's say you're here, and so something happens or you create change or whatever, right? And so you feel excited because you're like going through challenges and you're building and you're accomplishing and all that. And then you reach a point where this becomes the new normal. So you get settled in, you get acquainted with it, you feel comfortable, it becomes your comfort zone. And then at some point you start to love it so much that you're like sort of the Four of Pentacles energy. You're like closed up, you don't want change because you're afraid to lose it. And it is then when it is as much as we fear of losing that, it is then when it's imperative for us to be more open to change, because whenever change is going to happen, it can either happen, smooth. Well, it's never like as smooth, but like it can happen when we facilitate it, or it can happen when it just happens to us, and then we have to adapt really quickly and more painfully than like other times. And so when that happens, something happens, a belief is shattered, circumstances different, I don't know, something, right? And so we discovered that as much as this was a comfortable zone, there's like another zone that's even, more comfortable, more better. And so we expand until this becomes uncomfortable again. So this energy talks about that moment where the expansion is about to happen. And from the myth of this card, this tells me that it's not a choice. It's sort of like, I'm feeling like this would be, let's say, if you get in the tarot, like a Tower card combined with the Four of Pentacles. So something's gonna happen to, break your beliefs or change your mind or whatever. Like there's a million scenarios how that can happen, but like something will happen and then you decide to expand, and you'll discover that did not mean you're going to lose what you have. This is only adding to it or expanding with it. On that note, let me read for you one of the symbols associated with this card. Repeat with me 3 times to invoke its energy. Tomato on a vine, tomato on a vine, tomato on a vine. On the vine, sorry. And so tomato on the vine. What does that symbol represent? First, it represents plenty, because there's like usually 4 or 5 tomatoes on each vine. Second, there's this energy associated with that symbol. It is the energy of community and plenty, like so many things. So that means everything in your life is playing a key role in it. And if you notice, and if you look, let's say, at a tomato on the vine, you would notice that, let's say, if one of the tomatoes get rotten, if you don't cut it off and throw it away, it might affect the others. And at the same time, it is very precious, so it's not easy to cut it off, because what makes a tomato on the vine is the many tomatoes. If it was just one, it would be just tomato. And so this talks about the process of cutting off or losing something in order to gain the totality. So in the Pomona case, she had to lose her belief that if she found someone, she's gonna lose her garden. Once she decided to lose that belief that was so dear to her heart, she discovered that she didn't lose her garden, and she got a partner and a bigger garden, or whatever you wanna call it. So this concept here is really asking you to look at what do you want to cut off or release or let go of in order to allow for that expansion of plenty. But that, I'm getting a feeling and a hunch here that this is not something that's going to be obvious. Like, maybe you'll think you know what you're going to release or lose, only to find out that you did not. Like, it's going to be something that's going to also come to your surprise. Yeah, you did not expect that this was the thing that you needed to cut off. All right. So this could be a habit, a belief, a location, physical something, a job, relationship, aspect of a relationship, aspect of a job, attitude. I don't know, whatever it is. Like, it could be really like so many things. Another thing also, you remember when we talked about the number, when I told you, like I shared with you that number 1 is a number that represents also image and identity and all that. And so there's something to be talking about. And 11 is like really a number of that, like a charged up number of a 1-1. And so that's also because it's talking about like using influence to help others, whether it's you or the other people, as influence. And whenever that we talk influence or power, we're talking image, right? And we're talking identity. And so what does that tell me is that, and this is why it's so relevant that like there's the tomato on the vine symbol that's associated with this card, because this talks really about like packaging. So tomato on the vine are like sold and marketed and created and all that. At the end of the day, they're tomatoes, right? Of course, there are variants, but they're manufactured or created or presented or whatever in a way to to give a certain feeling. So let's say you can see the stems on it because it will make you pay for a higher price and they'll feel more natural and all that. There's so many, like, we can read this into so many levels, but like the whole point of this is to tell you that there's a real focus here also on an image. And so maybe you need to, go through a lifting, an image lifting of how you present yourself or how you present your work. So maybe that's something that you need to lose. Like, you need to lose an old way of doing things, an old way of presenting yourself, an old look, an old style, an old way of communicating, an old way of looking apart, an old way of persona, and something like that, in order to embrace the plenty. Because how can you receive all that more plentiness while you're still presenting that same old persona, let's say, right? Like, you gotta match the new vibration. This is like when someone, let's say, I don't know, like levels up or whatever, you can always tell that there's going to be a change in the way they present themselves as well. And so this is talking about you, like, doing that. As much as whatever you're deciding to let go of is like dear to your heart, it is essential for you to, hit that growth. So yeah, very, very, very beautiful energy. I love this for you, Saggies. Stay blessed, aligned, and connected. I love you so, so much. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. If you didn't subscribe yet, please do subscribe. I really appreciate it. Share with me your comments about all this experience. I love you so, so, so much.